Have you ever asked yourself this? Why do some people seem to effortlessly rise above the crowd, while others, just as skilled, just as smart, fade quietly into the background? It's not luck. It's not even raw talent. It's something far more subtle and far more powerful. It's the invisible rules, the ones no one speaks of, but everyone follows. In this hidden game, those who succeed don't make noise. They move like shadows, clear in vision, precise in action, and never easily influenced. They know how to bend reality without ever appearing to push. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. You're about to discover 15 of the most powerful, strategic, and yes, dark, principles that sharp minds use to stay ahead in a world that never stops watching. These aren't tricks, they're survival tactics. Tools not to manipulate, but to protect and elevate. Once you see these rules, you'll start noticing them everywhere, and you'll never look at the world the same again. Let's begin with Law 15. Use absence to increase your worth. If you're always around, always easy to find, you blend into the background. The world doesn't chase what's within reach, it longs for what it can barely touch. That's the secret. Scarcity creates value. Think about it. Diamonds aren't valuable because they're flashy. They're valuable because they're rare. The same is true for your presence. The less available you are, the more magnetic you become. The Stoics understood this well. They taught us to let go of the craving to be constantly seen or praised. True power doesn't scream, it whispers. It chooses when to appear and when to vanish. When you're everywhere, people stop noticing you. But when you step away, even for a moment, you stir something deeper: curiosity, desire, respect. You create space for your value to expand. Legends aren't made by being seen all the time. They're made by being missed. And the most powerful people? They don't just appear. They arrive, like an event. Talked about, waited for, remembered. So embrace silence. Embrace distance. Let your disappearance become the very thing that multiplies your influence. And when you return, don't just come back elevated. Come back transformed, unignorable. If you master this principle, you'll never have to ask for attention again. It will follow you. When you step back with intention, something interesting happens. People start to wonder. They start to feel your absence. And in that subtle space you create, your presence gains weight. Your value begins to grow not in what you say or do, but in the space you no longer fill. This is where real power begins, not with noise, but with control. Now, let's move to the next law, one that operates quietly, but cuts deeply. Law 14. Weaponize trust strategically. In the game of power, trust is the most lethal currency. Most people think trust is about safety, friendship, loyalty, but in reality, trust is a double-edged sword. It can protect, but it can also expose, disarm, and destroy. Here's the truth that many overlook. The people closest to you are not always your strongest allies. In fact, they are often the ones with the greatest access to your vulnerabilities. And that's why this law exists. Trust is not something you blindly give. It's something you must learn to control. The Stoics taught us to look beyond appearances, to see through the illusion. And one of the most dangerous illusions in life is blind loyalty. Throughout history, the most brilliant and manipulative minds rose not through aggression, but by becoming the ones others trusted most. Take the time of Machiavelli. A single minister was able to earn the complete, unwavering trust of powerful kings. And with that trust, he quietly dismantled entire empires from the inside, without ever needing an army. So how does it work? When someone believes you are just like them, when they think you reflect their values, their thoughts, their beliefs, they let their guard down. They talk more, they share more, and the more you mirror their language and echo their mindset, the more they believe you're truly on their side. But remember this: trust is not a guarantee. It is not a shield. It is a tool, and tools can be dangerous in the wrong hands. The friend who knows your secrets may already be studying your every flaw. They may smile at you while memorizing your weaknesses. In a world where knowledge equals power, the one who listens the most wins. So sharpen your awareness. Don't rush to speak. Speak less. Listen better. Observe everything. Because those who truly master trust, they don't guard it, they weaponize it. And now, let's explore the next brutal truth behind power. Law 13. Align with self-interest, not sympathy. If you want to persuade someone, don't beg. Speak to their ambition and self-interest. In the previous section, we learned that the wise don't sit around hoping for kindness or fairness. Instead, they awaken desire and incentive. And that's exactly how one man bent an entire empire to his will, not through force, but through irresistible offers. He didn't plead. He offered wealth, power, and status. He didn't ask for loyalty. He triggered ambition. And once people realized what they could gain, the empire surrendered to him, willingly. The Stoics remind us, don't expect the world to be fair, see it as it is. And in truth, this world doesn't run on emotion or justice, it runs on incentives. There are two kinds of people: those who wait for help, and those who position themselves so effectively that help comes to them, uninvited. If you want your voice to matter, let it echo with opportunity. Don't just talk. Show people how your success benefits them. This isn't manipulation, it's intelligence. Its strategic alignment. Influence isn't born from pleading to be understood, it comes from becoming useful. Because once people recognize that your victory is also their win, you'll never need to ask twice. Law 12. Disarm with strategic kindness. Now we enter a law that seems soft, but strikes hard. Use kindness as a weapon. The most effective form of deception doesn't come through threats. It comes wrapped in generosity. People rarely question those who appear kind, because kindness lowers their guard. And that's when power slips through the door. This is Law 12. Disarm with selective generosity. Truly powerful individuals don't showcase strength through dominance. They reveal it through well-timed, calculated gestures of goodwill. When people believe you're on their side, they stop defending themselves. Genghis Khan mastered this strategy. Instead of razing every city to the ground, he offered gifts, status, and protection. Soon, the people who once feared him began to worship him. And when resistance vanished, he struck, swift and final. That's the hidden danger of trust. It makes people blind. The Stoics teach us to observe, not assume, to look beyond the surface. Because what looks like virtue may in fact be a calculated strategy in disguise. Those who use honesty recklessly, they're often the first to fall. But the wise? They give just enough, only enough to gain access. Never more, never too soon. Real power doesn't shout, it hides. Behind the perfect mask of sincerity. Kindness can open doors, but it's precision that decides who holds the key. We just saw how kindness can be weaponized. But remember, kindness must be used with precision, not emotion, because in a world ruled by perception, the same hand that offers warmth may also be hiding a blade. Law 11. Become irreplaceable, not just useful. Loyalty is rarely about love, it's about necessity. People stay by your side not because they admire you, but because they need you. But the moment they realize they can thrive without you, your importance begins to fade. That's the brutal truth, and that's Law 11. Make others dependent on you, not through fear or force, but through quiet indispensability. True power isn't loud, it's built into the structure itself. A wise king once asked his advisor, "Who is the most powerful man in the kingdom?" The advisor smiled and said, "The one whose absence breaks the entire system. That man may not wear a crown, but if he disappears, the empire collapses." In ancient Rome, a cunning minister secured his influence not by revealing everything he knew, but by withholding just enough. He fed the king information in fragments, ensuring that only he held the full picture. And when the king, blinded by overconfidence, removed the minister, chaos erupted. The system fell apart. Only then did they realize the true cost of losing what they had taken for granted. This lesson is timeless. If you want to maintain power, never give everything away. Keep something, a skill, a solution, a piece of knowledge that only you possess, something no one else can replicate. Like the camel in the desert, respected not for its beauty, but for its essential role. You must become the one thing they cannot move forward without. Yes, the Stoics taught us self-reliance, but they also understood this: to thrive in any system, make yourself vital to that system's survival. So ask yourself, if you vanished tomorrow, would they adapt, or would they fall apart? The answer reveals the true strength of your position in a world that replaces the useful and forgets the generous. Make your absence feel like collapse. That's how you become irreplaceable. Law 10. Protect your energy from the unstable. No matter how smart, driven, or disciplined you are, if your environment is toxic, your potential will decay. This is Law 10. Avoid the unlucky and the negative. The Stoics taught us to take full responsibility for our inner world. But they also warned us, be ruthless about what influences you allow into your life. Because toxic energy doesn't just distract you, it slowly suffocates who you could have become. The truth is harsh. Some people are not just unhelpful, they're harmful. Their presence drains your energy. Their failures become your responsibility. Their chaos bleeds into your order, until you no longer know what belongs to you and what doesn't. There was once a man, unmatched in skill, sharp in mind, tireless in discipline, but despite his strength, his life kept falling apart. Finances collapsed. Relationships grew toxic. Trust was shattered. He wasn't weak, he was surrounded by weakness. Then came a moment of clarity. He finally saw the pattern. Every downfall was tied to someone in his circle. Chronic complainers, victims of their own stories. People addicted to drama, not discipline. So, he made the boldest decision of his life. He cut them out, one by one. The noise faded, and within a year, peace returned. His focus sharpened, his work thrived, his life became whole again. The people you allow into your life are never neutral. They either amplify your vision or sabotage it. Misery is contagious. Failure is not just an event, it's a mindset. And it spreads like smoke. Guard your path like a fortress. The man who seeks greatness must protect not only his time, but his energy, his focus, and his circle. In the pursuit of power, never let kindness turn into weakness. You cannot heal people who refuse to change, but you can choose not to be swept into their storm. And sometimes, that choice can save your life. Law 9. Let action silence the noise instead of being dragged into pointless arguments. Let your actions silence the room. Never waste your breath trying to convince those who are determined to misunderstand you. A fool will pull you into his chaos, lower your level, and win by exhausting your peace. That's why true power doesn't scream, it proves itself. This is Law 9. Win through action, never through argument. The Stoics remind us, inner control is always greater than external noise. Arguing is often a sign you still seek validation. But the powerful move in silence, and their victories do the speaking. They don't explain, they demonstrate. They don't beg to be understood. They become undeniable. If someone questions your worth, don't defend it with words. Let your consistency, your discipline, your results, crush the doubt. Every second spent arguing is a second lost in building. And every time you descend into conflict, you abandon the higher ground of purpose and clarity. Understand this: those who truly command respect never try to prove themselves. They simply become impossible to ignore. Speak less, execute more. Let the world form opinions, while you build legacies. In a society obsessed with noise, You become rare by choosing action. So, don't react, rise. Don't defend, deliver. Don't explain, excel. Whether they love you or hate you, let them watch from the sidelines as your life becomes the loudest response. Law 8. Draw people in without chasing. In every game of power, the one who chases is quickly forgotten, while the one who waits with purpose becomes unforgettable. This is Law 8. Make others come to you. In the realm of strategy, not every move leads to progress. When you chase people, whether in business, love, or influence, you send a message loud and clear: they are the prize. You are the pursuer, but real power doesn't chase. It attracts, it positions, it builds such undeniable value that others feel drawn to it, not out of obligation, but out of necessity. The Stoics understood this deeply. Control starts from within, and all influence flows from that centered place. When you want something from someone, don't plead. Instead, create conditions where they begin to crave what you bring to the table. Use patience as your weapon. Let your absence echo more powerfully than your presence. Powerful individuals design the game in their favor, then wait as others move toward them on their terms. Even bait, when used wisely, isn't manipulation, it's strategy. Turn their needs into leverage. Turn your silence into gravity. If others feel they can't move forward without you, they'll cross oceans just to shake your hand. Respect is never earned through pursuit. It's earned through posture. So, stop chasing. Build. Ground yourself. Hold the frame. And then ask yourself honestly, will you spend your life reacting to others? Or will you create a world where others move around you? One creates noise, the other commands the room. Choose wisely. Law 7. Lead the vision. Own the outcome. Power doesn't reward effort, it rewards perception. In a world obsessed with outcomes, few people stop to ask, who really did the work? This is Law 7. Take credit strategically. The Stoics urge us to act with clarity, not illusion, but they also warn us to see the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. And the hard truth is, history remembers the name, not the hands. The one who organizes, delegates, and claims the outcome is crowned the victor. The one who toils in silence is often forgotten. If you spend your life working tirelessly but fail to understand the game of influence, you'll end up just a pawn in someone else's narrative. Real power isn't about doing everything yourself. It's about creating a system where others contribute to your vision, while you guide the narrative from above. The most powerful minds in history weren't always the ones who built, but they were always seen as the architect. So don't let false humility rob you of what's rightfully yours. Recognition, influence, legacy. Previously, we explored how power doesn't just come from action, but from being seen. Law 6. Be so real they can't ignore you. People don't follow effort alone, they follow visibility. This isn't about stealing the spotlight. It's about leading it, because when you inspire action, when you orchestrate movement, when you see the big picture while others are stuck in the task, you earn something valuable: the right to stand in the light and stay there. So ask yourself honestly, are you building your own name? Or are you helping someone else build theirs? In the game of power, hard work is noble, but recognition is eternal. Don't just contribute, make sure you're remembered. Law 6. Be so real they can't ignore you. In this world, obscurity is death. It doesn't matter how wise, talented, or skilled you are. If the world doesn't see you, it forgets you. This is Law 6. Command attention, or fade into silence. Visibility isn't vanity, it's survival. The Stoics taught us to value substance over appearance, but they also understood human nature. People are drawn to what they cannot ignore. So if you want real influence, you must learn to enter people's minds and never leave. Be unforgettable, not by shouting for attention, but by embodying something so compelling, so emotionally charged, that no one can look away. It might be love. It might be awe. It might even be fear. But indifference? That's the true failure. Even your enemies keep your name alive if they can't stop thinking about you. The greatest figures in history weren't necessarily beloved, but they were remembered. Average lives are lived quietly, unnoticed, unchallenged, but those who dare to command the spotlight, even for a moment, shape the direction of the crowd. You must choose. Will you let the world pass you by? Or will you seize its attention and never let go? Control perception, stir emotion, make people feel something when your name is spoken. Because in this great game of power, silence is not peace, it's erasure. And those who fade quietly are the ones history buries deepest. So leave a mark, or be forgotten. The choice is yours. Law 5. Let your comeback echo loudly. When life strikes you down, don't just get back up, rise in a way that makes the world flinch. This is Law 5. Shake the world to be remembered. In the eyes of the crowd, perception often outweighs reality. People rarely remember quiet endurance. They remember the storm, the one that changed everything. If someone tries to humiliate you, don't respond with bitterness or explanations. Respond with transformation so fierce it turns their insult into ash. When you fall, don't just rise. Rise in a way that shakes the ground beneath you. Previously, we explored how a powerful comeback speaks louder than any explanation. But rising again isn't just about what you do, it's about the image you project, the silence you keep, and the words you choose. That's where Law 4 begins. Law 4. Guard your words like you guard your power. The Stoics never chased applause. They never lived to be approved by the crowd. But they understood this one truth deeply: your image is your armor. It's the lens through which the world sees you. So craft it with intention. Control it with clarity. Because the world won't stop to ask who you really are. It only responds to what you present. Do you emit fear or respect? Are you overlooked or impossible to ignore? This world doesn't reward softness. It respects presence. You don't have to be cruel to be powerful. But you must be formidable. The one who cannot be ignored is the one who shapes the story. And when you fall, because everyone does, don't shrink. Don't explain. Rise again as a version of yourself so elevated, so relentless, that even those who doubted you are forced to respect your name. You can be remembered as the one who broke, or the one who made the earth tremble when they stood back up. The choice will always be yours. But to become that version, you must first master the power of restraint. You must learn the rare art of saying less. Law 4. Your tongue is a weapon and a weakness. In your arsenal, words are the blade, and like any blade, they can protect or cut too deep. In a world addicted to expression, silence becomes your secret strength. The more you talk, the more you reveal. Every opinion, plan, emotion, they open a window into how you think. And when people understand your patterns, they can predict you, manipulate you, outmaneuver you. You may think you're being clever, showing off your intelligence or confidence. But the wise know this. Mystery commands more power than clarity ever will. The Stoics didn't stay silent out of fear. They did so from discipline. They spoke with intention, never just to fill the air. That restraint made their presence larger than life. In contrast, those who say too much become forgettable. They collapse under the weight of their own openness. Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, I revealed too much? That your transparency came at the cost of your influence? If so, it's time to shift. Speak less, watch more, let them wonder what you're thinking, planning, becoming. Because in the realm of power, curiosity is currency. Mystery is protection. The quiet man is rarely underestimated, because no one knows what he's truly capable of. So speak only when your words strengthen your position. Until then, let your silence thunder louder than any speech ever could. Law 3. Conceal the path. Reveal the result. In a world driven by power and perception, The most dangerous mistake you can make is revealing your intentions too soon. Because once people see what you're after, your goals, your next moves, your desires, they gain leverage over you. They can block you, outsmart you, even quietly unravel everything you've worked hard to build. This is Law 3. Hide your intentions. The Stoics taught that restraint is wisdom, and nowhere is that more essential than in the realm of strategy. The one who becomes predictable becomes vulnerable, but the one who moves in silence, wrapped in misdirection, becomes untouchable. History doesn't always remember the loudest or the strongest. It remembers the most cunning, those who influenced from the shadows. The Rothschild banking dynasty, for example, didn't rise through showmanship. They built an empire by feeding the world distractions, while quietly executing a hidden master plan. Even modern titans like Warren Buffett practice this rule. He never shows his full hand. He lets others guess while he prepares a move that hits with precision. When your true intentions are concealed, every action you take lands harder because it's unexpected. It shocks, it disorients, it gives you an edge. Reveal only what reinforces your position. Let the world believe they understand your goals, while your real objective remains buried beneath layers of misdirection. Because mystery isn't just protection, it's raw power. Once your strategy is visible, it becomes manipulable, and the moment that happens, you're no longer the player. You've become the piece in someone else's game. So stay quiet, stay deliberate, and when the time comes, let your silence deliver the blow no one ever saw coming. Law 2. Transform enemies into strength. In the game of power, trust is not given freely, it is calculated. Over time, friends may feel entitled to your success. They expect rewards, recognition, and sometimes, they quietly begin to resent you for rising higher than them. But enemies? Their intentions are clear. No masks, no illusions. And when you manage to turn them to your side, their loyalty often runs deeper, because it's not assumed, it's earned. This is Law 2. Turn enemies into assets. History makes this truth impossible to ignore. Napoleon was betrayed not by strangers, but by friends. Julius Caesar was struck down by Brutus, the man he trusted most. A Stoic mind doesn't see people as friends or foes. It sees them as strategic pieces on a much larger board. The question is never just, do I trust them? It's, can they help me win? Because in the architecture of power, everyone has potential value. The powerful don't waste time judging. They observe, they assess, they recruit wisely, even from their opposition. So if you want to win, not just once, but consistently, don't build a world of yes men. Build a coalition of proven strength, even if that strength once opposed you. Because sometimes, your greatest ally was once your greatest threat. Following the core idea from page 9, where we saw how concealment and strategy build power, we now arrive at the beginning of it all, the foundation of every move in the game of influence. Law 1. Master yourself before you challenge power. A former enemy, when redirected and reformed, can become one of your most powerful allies. But a comfortable friend, blinded by complacency or envy, can become unpredictable. Even dangerous. The wise don't aim to destroy every rival. Instead, they observe them, redirect them, and control them quietly. Because an enemy who chooses loyalty willingly is often more reliable than a friend who clings to you out of habit. In this game, emotions don't belong in the equation. Real influence is born from the ability to turn tension into loyalty, and to convert threats into opportunity. Law 1. Never outshine the master. No matter how brilliant you are, never make the mistake of shining brighter than the one above you. This is the first law, and it is non-negotiable. In any hierarchy, ego is the invisible thread holding power together. Challenge it, even unintentionally, and you risk being cut out without warning. History is filled with names of geniuses whose own brilliance became their downfall. Galileo, Copernicus, and others were silenced not because they were wrong, but because they were right too soon. Even revolutionary truths become threats when spoken by someone who makes the powerful feel overshadowed. You must understand this. Power isn't always logical. It's emotional, and those who hold it fear irrelevance far more than failure. The wise don't just learn when to speak. They master restraint. They master timing. They allow others to feel superior, all while quietly pulling the strings behind the curtain. Because real intelligence isn't about showing off. It's about strategic timing. You don't need to impress the master. You need to outlast him. Protect his ego, and in doing so, protect your own position. Then, when the time is right, rise, not within his shadow, but beyond his reach. Sometimes, real power isn't about standing in the spotlight. It's about knowing when to stay still and wait. If this resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below. Because power is not something you wait for, it's something you choose. And when you do, that choice becomes the moment that defines everything.